What's up, Boxing Land? What's up, Boxing Freaks? Today is May 12th, 2013. I'm here to talk to you today about a supposed catch weight between Floyd Mayweather and Saul Alvarez, better known as Canelo. So I hope it's not true, but then again, it was reported on BoxingScene.com by Canelo's manager that the talks going on with Mayweather are requiring that Canelo comes down to 147. I don't like that, nor a catch weight. I think it's horrible. We used to criticize Manny to no end for fighting catch weights with Cotto and Margarito, and now we used to call him also the catch weight king. But if this is true, this is horrible because Manny's catch weight fought at catch weights twice. And Floyd fought at a catch weight once against a lightweight at the time, 135-pounder named Marquez, which Floyd failed to make the agreed upon weight anyhow. But I don't want to see catch weights, and I don't want to. And Canelo can't make 147. He'll have to chop his lower torso off to make that weight. What gets me upset, with they're not even boxing fans. What gets me upset with Flomos, which are the same thing as Pactards, except that they follow Floyd, is that they used to shit on Manny Pacquiao for catch weights, and now they're justifying Floyd, supposedly fighting at a catch weight or wanting to weight drain Canelo. If we shit on one guy for doing it, we got to shit on the other guy too. We can't dismiss it because we're a fan of his. I don't like it. Floyd has the skills. Personally, I think Floyd beats Canelo in a fight just because of the skills. Floyd's skill level is all-time great. And anybody who watches the guy knows that he's one of the best fighters that you've ever seen and that you probably will ever see in your lifetime. But, we don't want to see a catch weight. Look, remember last year when Floyd fought Cotto? What did he say? No, I'm going to fight him at his weight. I'm going to fight him where he's best at, so there's no excuses, no catch weights. He said that, but now he's saying a different thing, with Canelo. And he fought Oscar De La Hoya and he fought Miguel Cotto at 154, but he doesn't want to fight Canelo at 154. Let's look at the reasons why. Canelo's not washed up. While some people may say that he's still not fully developed, which I agree with, he's not washed up like Cotto was and like Oscar was, all right? Oscar had also went to 160 middleweight and came back down to 54. All right, Cotto fight night weighed close to 170 pounds against Mayweather, and there was no issue there. But the issue is this: not only were Oscar and Cotto washed up, but they're also left-handed. People who fight righty. So what that means is that they're a one-hand fighter who, once you eliminate that one hand, you pretty much beat them because they don't have a second hand. They don't have a right hand. They've got their power in their left hand because they're left-handed, and that's the hand which they jab with, and it's the hand which they hook with. Floyd, fight out of his defensive style, neutralizes that and takes that away. But once he does that, he has no right hand to worry about. Canelo, okay, is a two-hand fighter. He's got a great jab. He's got a great left hook, great left uppercut, but if you eliminate that hand, Canelo has a great right hook, a great right uppercut, and a great right overhand right. So he's a two-hand fighter. So we see the reasons why perhaps Floyd doesn't want to fight Canelo, because he's not washed up and because he's a great offensive fighter with power in both hands and with tools in both hands. Again, I'm not saying that Canelo beats Floyd. I don't think Canelo could beat Floyd now. Now, you never know what can happen if Floyd breaks his hand in that fight because he has to sit on his punches to try to make Canelo respect him. Floyd could hurt his hand, and if Canelo just keeps coming forward, you never know what can happen because history has shown us that upsets do occur in boxing, But, hold on one second. I'm going to pay this toll. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right. So, I think that Floyd can beat Canelo, but I want to see him take a tough fight. Look, this is the bottom line. Who the fuck is he gonna fight? You know, who's he gonna fight? Devin Alexander, Amir Khan. He's gonna fight Danny Garcia, Marcos Maidana, Josecito Lopez winner, or the Lamont Peterson, Lucas Matisse winner. Those are all 140-pound fighters, and while they're good, they're not at the level, nor do they possess anything in their arsenal that could possibly upset or beat Floyd. You know, when we're paying $60 for fights, okay, we want to see the best fight the best, or we want to see the best take on, you know, the possible threats. Now, you can counter that with saying, oh, well, boxing is a business. No shit, you know, everything is a business. Nobody goes to work for free, but we still want to see the best fights, you know. There's plenty of fights that he can get taken, and some of you will say, well, it doesn't matter. If he takes that fight, he'll still get criticized. You know what? No, man, bullshit. Let's see him take bigger threats, and then we won't knock on him. I don't want to see him fighting junior welterweights that aren't fully developed and that don't have anything in their arsenal at all for Floyd. You know. So, for example, we also saw Sergio Martinez age in his last fight, in a fight which I think was a draw or maybe he lost. Right? Guess what? Sergio now is a middleweight. In reality, he's a 154-pound fighter that went to middleweight because nobody wanted to fight him there. But he could come down to 54, and he could face Floyd at that weight, you know? And it'll be the right time. Sergio's, 37, 38 years old. Floyd is, I think, 36 years old. That'll be a good fight. People say, hey, Martinez may have a chance. And you can shit on that fight all you want, but let me tell you something. Floyd versus Sergio is a hell of a lot better than Floyd facing any of the other guys that I mentioned before. You know, I know it's one thing to be a fan, and it's one thing to adore one guy, but fuck, man, be a boxing fan. You know what I'm saying? Because when Manny and Floyd and Sergio and Canelo and all these guys leave boxing, boxing will still be there. You know what I'm saying? Boxing outlives all boxers, and I love the sport, you know, more than I love the fighters, because fighters will come and go, but the sport will remain. So, you know, you got to call a bullshit fight for what it is. And you got to call bullshit also for what it is. You know, I don't want to see Canelo come down in weight. I want to see him fight at 54. Again, I think Floyd can beat him. But, you know, if he beats Canelo after that, you know what? That says something for his legacy. But if he doesn't fight Canelo and he takes on 4 or 5 other bullshit fights, that hurts his fucking legacy. Because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, nobody gives a shit how much money you made or how many cars you have. Because history has shown us that all these boxers seem to go broke after they retire. But what will matter are the important fights, the good fights that you took. You know, we talk about Hearns, Hagler, we talk about Benitez, we talk about Duran as if these guys are boxing gods, and we do it because of the level of opposition that they face, because of the fights that they were in. We don't give a shit about how much money they made. Look, Sugar Ray Leonard was the first fighter ever to earn more than $100 million, okay? Does anybody ever mention that? Chances are you never even heard that, okay? But the thing is, nobody ever talks about the money that he made. They talk about the fights that he was in. They talk about his legacy, his greatness. His greatness was defined by the fights that he had, by the adversity that he faced in the ring, and how he overcame it. You know? So that's what we want to see. And it's a shame because history, if he doesn't fight Canelo, history will remember Floyd for not making the 2 possible biggest fights that he could have made, which was against Pacquiao and Canelo. And it will not matter whose fault it was, because the bottom line is that history will have recorded that he didn't fight those guys. It doesn't matter who he didn't fight. The same thing with Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao's legacy will also be defined by not fighting Floyd Mayweather. So we want to see the best fights. We want to see the best fighting at the best. And the thing about Floyd is people say, oh, well, you're hating on him and there's haters. Fuck the haters, man. Listen, I said the same shit about Manny, and I said the same thing about other fighters. It's not about hating. You know, you can't use that. That's like some PR bullshit that you try to do to shut people up when they don't agree with you. The thing is this, that we all acknowledge the greatness that Floyd has with his boxing skills. And when you're great, when you have that much greatness, we hold you at a higher standard. That's what it comes down to. You know, it's not hating. It's having a higher standard for greatness that we all are witnessing, and greatness that we want to see go out on top. We want to be able to say, you know what, he fought the best, and he did some incredible things. We don't want to look back and say, you know what, he was one of the most skillful fighters ever, but guess what? He didn't fight the best at their best. You know, there was a lot of fights he could have took at the right time, but he didn't take that. So we that's what we want to see, like true hardcore boxing fans, not little boxing fanboys, TMZ fans who follow one guy and worship that one guy, and turn a blind eye to all of his wrongdoings, but then we criticize other fighters for doing the same shit. So anyhow, tell me what you think. All right, leave me a comment on Twitter at YDKSAB, or follow me on Facebook at Boxing Freaks, 2 words. I'm gonna do something really, really big soon with boxing and my pages. Just because I'm fortunate enough to have access to some very powerful people in boxing, and I have a lot of access to a lot of boxing legends and a lot of people in boxing, mainly because of my passion for boxing and also because of my proximity to New York City and to areas where there are a lot of people around me. So I've been very lucky in that sense. So stay tuned. Again, follow me at YDKSAB at Twitter, and follow me at YouTube. I'm sorry, follow me at Facebook at Boxing Freaks. And I have a YouTube page as well, which I'll be renaming soon. Peace out, Boxing Land.